everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Lots to talk about. Pochettino wants Ollie's job. Ollie wants a defender and we've got 3 targets for that, potentially in January. We'll also be talking a big injury update, Van der Sar inviting United to come and get more Ajax players and a lot more. And I just want to say as well, we have got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference coming up this morning. Not this morning, about 1:30 today. So that's going to be very interesting. He will definitely be asked about injuries, of course, ahead of the Manchester derby. But more pertinently, he's going to be asked about Paul Pogba, isn't he? So that's going to be very, very interesting as well. 1 minute. This doesn't normally happen, but I have got I've got a doorbell ringing. I'll be 1 minute. This is really exciting. If this works, it'll be great. 1 second. It's not exciting. I've handed myself a massive L here. It's not what I thought it was going to be. It's just about a box from Amazon. Maybe on the next show. Anyway, on with the show. Thanks to Flick for sponsoring the show. Free to download. Manchester United Stand chat 24/7. Every day, link in the video description, polls, predictions, everything like that. Get involved. I've bantered myself live on the morning show. I can't tell you what it was because it'll ruin it when it does come on the show. But it wasn't what I wanted it to be. But I feel a bit like POCH. I can see how the mind works. I can turn a negative into something that's creative. So I'm a little bit like POCH there. The doorbell goes. I think it's going to be the thing I really want, so that I can bring it on the show and go ta-da, and everyone goes, Goldbridge is brilliant. And it's not. It's not what I wanted. It's not. I can't bring an Amazon box, which could be a present for me. I don't know. So I'm a little bit like POCH. See what I've done here? I'm a little like POCH. The doorbell. He thinks it's Ed Woodward. Here's your contract. Ollie's gone. He opens the door. It's just an Amazon package. He's not got the Man United job. So this is where we're going to start off with Pochettino, because I think it's been a very interesting week. And of course, we had, Manchester United went out on Tuesday. It did happen, unfortunately. But PSG didn't go out. And Real Madrid didn't go out. So the PSG job, the Real Madrid job, they're still secure for Zidane and Tuchel at the moment. So Pochettino, I think even I said last week, Pochettino will be in a job by Christmas. The way the results have gone, it doesn't look like they will be. I really expected us to knock PSG out, so maybe he'd got the PSG job. I thought Zidane might go out, so maybe he'd get the Real Madrid job. So the Pochettino thing is still going to be there. And Ollie's only got himself to blame in relation to that. Now, last night there were some rumours coming out from very uncredible sources, I think some of you know who they were, that Manchester United had been in discussions with Pochettino yesterday. This has not happened. Hasn't happened. Manchester United spoke to Pochettino's people about a month ago, and this is the second time they've done it in the last year, according to quite credible sources. But there's not been any further discussions in the last week, just because we've gone out of because we're back in the Europa League. Manchester United are still very much putting out there that they back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And some of the principles of that are this. We've got more points than we had last season. We have got more points than anybody else in the league, apart from Liverpool, since January. And there was another one as well. Yeah, we're 5 points off the top of the league with the game in hand. This goes back to what I said yesterday morning about the incompetence of Manchester United's board. And as somebody who's not adamantly Ollie out, I'm not Ollie out, and many people aren't Ollie out. Even as somebody who's not Ollie out, I can sympathise with the Ollie outers on the stupidity of these public statements of reasons to stick with this coaching network. We've got more points than anybody else since January. Well, that's because of Bruno Fernandes. You can't have it both ways. You can't say Bruno's the most important player in the team and then start saying, actually, it's tactics. Bullshit. If we hadn't signed Bruno Fernandes, we'd be nowhere. The reason we've got as many points as Liverpool or just below Liverpool since January is because we signed bloody Bruno Fernandes. Every time people talk about how many points we've got since January, it's not January, it's the end of January, because we lost to bloody Burnley in January. What the actual sentence is we've got as many points as Liverpool since Bruno Fernandes joined this club. There's your hint. That's not great coaching. That's just a good signing that we should have done 6 months before. As for having more points this time than last season, well, last season we were shit. This season we're quite shit. But we've been a little bit better in the league. And as for being in a title race, give it a couple of weeks. Like, if we lose tomorrow, we're out of a title race. So what is very irritating is that not that Ollie's in the job. This is nothing really to do with Solskjaer for me. I know for some of you it will be. It's not that Ollie's in the job. It's United's justification for being happy with Ollie in the job. They should be putting pressure on him in that boardroom. They should be saying to him, that's bloody unacceptable what happened on Tuesday night. Absolutely unacceptable. The start to this season's been poor. You've turned it around with some good league wins. They've been far from convincing. We've been behind in a lot of games and you've had to pull it out of the bag in the second half. Well, your luck ran out against Leipzig. You better start sorting this out, because I'm not fooled by 4 wins in a row when every one of those wins could have been draws. You know, we're not playing scintillating football. We're not playing league-winning football. We're out of the Champions League in the group stage. This is not progression. I'm not sacking you. I'm not threatening you with the sack, but I'm telling you, this is not good enough. What's our board doing? We're in a much better position than we were a year ago. We're really happy. It's bullshit. This is why we fail. It's not about Solskjaer. Solskjaer should be getting a bollocking this week, not getting, we're really happy with the progress. We're out of the bloody Champions League in the group stage. When is somebody in this football club going to take some responsibility for what this football club actually is? Why are we getting statements about we're really happy with the progress? You know, we're 5 points off the top of the league. We've got more points than last year. Why has nobody got a bloody football brain in that football club? It pisses me off. And it's not about being Solskjaer out. It's about Solskjaer getting a bollocking from his bosses. And they're not. They're going, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. We're doing really well. Have you seen the table? Yeah, because the only bloody things you're in depth looking at is the bloody share price. We're not playing good. We don't know what our best 11 is. We don't have any tactics. We don't have any philosophy. We're a bloody shambles as a club. But, oh no, everything's fine. And you know what's going to happen? They need to wake up and smell the bloody coffee, because most of you lot know what you're on about. Some people are saying Ollie out. A lot of people are saying not Ollie out yet, but he needs to start sorting things out at that football club. Well, how's he ever going to sort things out when Ed Woodward's there with an arm round his shoulder going, good work, Ollie, good work. You know, it's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And it goes back to the incompetence of the board. They're feeding this crap out that no credible fan is going to swallow. Oh, we've got more points than last year. We're 5 points off the top. We've got as many points as Liverpool since Bruno came in. Yeah, we've bottled 3 semi-finals. We're out of the Champions League in a group stage. What else have you got? Because I'll throw something back at you. You know, the roses are not red and blooming. They are dying. And Manchester United Football Club needs to bloody realise this and stop pontificating about everything being great. Because it's not. We don't know our best 11. We don't know our philosophy. And we keep pissing about with inconsistent football for eternity. And look, it's not about being Ollie out. It's about the club and the people who are running the club. I said this yesterday. The real issue at Manchester United is the people that are running the club. Because competent people running the club would be asking the questions you're asking about the coaching setup. It's not good enough what's going on, but they think it is. Ollie's not strong enough to replace his captain. As a manager, he has to be more flexible, says Richard. Well, he's probably going to drop David De Gea tomorrow. And I watched the Flex and KG show last night, and I absolutely agree with it. Why is David De Gea now the latest scapegoat? Why is it not Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof? Because it doesn't fit the agenda, does it? It's funny how these Ollie outers are the same ones that wanted Ollie to have the job when he first came. I don't want Ollie sacked till this board go, says Lee the Vampire. Yeah, but to be fair, Lee, though, he's been in the job for 2 years. I know lots of people who were singing Ollie's at the wheel who've been Ollie out for probably 6 months. So, you know, I think there's enough evidence for people to make their mind up. I'm not saying if you're Ollie out, you're wrong. I'm not at the moment. Some people aren't at the moment. It's about opinion, isn't it? I don't think anybody's wrong for being Ollie out. Anyway, you guys all do a watch along for the City game. Would be interesting to see Flex and KG joining you for that. Maybe even get Ricky in. Nope, Beto, we don't do it like that on this channel because I've said this so many times. The way we do the watch along in the fan forum and the fan cams works well for us. And the reason I just do the watch along, and it's very hard work, is because if you've got 3 or 4 people, you're watching 3 or 4 people. If you've just got me, there's constant interaction with the live comments, so that's why we do it. If you want to find something else, there's plenty of other people who do it. United ain't getting POCH, says Zen. So, with Pochettino, we've ended up veering off towards Ollie. With Pochettino, I don't even know if Pochettino's the right man for Manchester United, and at the moment, I'm still thinking that we should stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and tomorrow is a massive game, and we've got his press conference coming up at 1:30. However, Pochettino is still very much waiting on Manchester United. And I think that is interesting news because I didn't think we would be still in this situation now. I mean, he's a very good coach, Pochettino. Whatever I think about whether he's suitable for Manchester United, he's a very good coach. And Jacob asks a good question, but he's still available. The job for Pochettino is still not there. And actually, when you look at it, is that job going to become available before February? So if you are a Manchester United fan that wants Pochettino to get the job, you're actually not in a bad situation, because I was thinking he's going to get the PSG or Real Madrid job before Christmas. He's not. Those jobs are going to be pretty much available. You know, Tuchel's going to be in that job until at least February in the next round of the Champions League games, and the same for Zidane. So that's 3 months. What other job is going to come up that Pochettino wants? Juventus job's not going to be coming up. Bayern Munich's not going to come up. Barcelona, he wouldn't go there. There's no English jobs that are going to come up that he would want that's going to come available. He certainly wouldn't go to Arsenal. So I think that Pochettino is going to be waiting around a little bit longer, which is always going to be an issue for Ollie, isn't it? What will it take for Ollie to get sacked, says Jacob Mantle. I don't know. I don't know really, because Manchester United, I mean, it's a very good question. I mean, I wish you'd asked me that on the 8 o'clock show tonight, because the 8 o'clock show on a Friday is always like a chilled out vibe with Q&A, which I really enjoy. But I'll answer it because I don't want to avoid it. What will it take for Ollie to get sacked? Well, actually, let's use the community here. What would it take for you to Ollie? What do you think it's going to take for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to get sacked? Not what you think, because you might have competent views. Our board doesn't. What do I think it will take this board to sack Ollie? Well, the evidence is somewhat muddied, really, isn't it? They sacked Mourinho when he was still in the Champions League just before Christmas, and but we were miles off fourth. So that was probably the reason. They sacked Moyes quite late in his first season when top four had gone. Van Gaal, they let him go to the end of the season and then they sacked him. So there's 3 different stories there. There's Christmas, there's March, and there's end of the season. I think with Solskjaer, they're going to try and get to the end of the season. I think that's what they're going to try and do. And the issue we're going to have, if you want Ollie out of the job, is that the Europa League's there as well. Oh, he could win the Europa League. He could get in the Champions League. So he's got the Europa League as an option, as a get out of jail card as well, that will just elongate things. I also think the league has been quite inconsistent, so top 4's probably still there. I mean, look, Arsenal are 11 points off the top. They probably still think they can get top 4, even though they can't. So I think the board are going to... It'll be interesting what they do in the January transfer window, really. It's the constant lowering of expectations, says Dane Grayson. But you know what? I said this 2 years ago, and I got a bit of stick for it. I said at the start of the season, I expect United to be in a title race, and I got laughed at. And I said, it's not about... I don't really expect us to be in a title race, but I refuse to let these owners lower our expectations. And they have. The sad thing is they actually have. We were Manchester United, the football club that should challenge for titles. We're now Manchester United, the club that we all accept is crap and is just going to be fighting for 4th place. That's what we've become under... It's come off. It's broken. Hold on to it. So that's what we've become. We've become that football club, haven't we? Van Gaal and Mourinho are good managers, but they failed. Same will happen if we appoint Poch or Nagelsmann. For us to be successful, we have to be a footballing team rather than a marketing team, says Nickel. And 3rd was his peak. The fact that we still don't have a fixed formation and playing style exposes him as a manager, and it's sad, says Pratiush. I mean, look, I need to move on because there is some transfer news, but... I think in 2 years' time, if we got Pochettino, everyone would want Pochettino out and Wayne Rooney in if he does well at Derby. So, you can almost see that happening. I also think that, if I was the owner of Manchester United or I was Ed Woodward, how on earth has he, he's the manager of Manchester United and he's overwhelmed to get that job. Ollie never thought he was going to get the Man United job. It's a dream come true. He was managing Mulder and now he's managing Manchester United. It's like driving a mini metro and then somebody turns up and says, here's a Ferrari. His dreams come true. He's Gabriel. His dreams can come true. He's having a great time. He's not Jose Mourinho. He's not Pep Guardiola. He's not Sir Alex Ferguson. There is no reason for anybody on our board to be intimidated by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And there is no reason for a competent board to pull him into the dressing room, to pull him into their office this morning or yesterday, or better still, Wednesday morning. He should have been pulled into the office on Wednesday morning and asked the question, why are we not in the Champions League knockout stage? And ask him to be accountable for that. I don't think Man United do this sort of thing. I don't think, and the reason I don't think we do it, and the reason we fail, is because as a club, we are run badly. Like, if Klopp got knocked out in the group stage, I guarantee Liverpool would be like, whoever's on their board would be like, what went wrong there? There'd be accountability. We're in a results industry. There should be accountability. And they should be saying to Solskjaer, why are you not in the Champions League? Why are we not in the Champions League knockout phase? And he'd go, well, fine margins. And then I would say, well, okay, all right, I'll let you have that because the league, we've got City on Saturday. If we win that, technically we're right up at the top. But what I do want to know is, Ollie, why do you keep changing the team? I've given you quite a lot of money. I've given you 130 million on a right back and a centre back who look absolutely dreadful. That's a lot of money. You've been here 2 years. What's your best formation? What's your style of play? What's your best form? What's your philosophy? I'm confused. What are you doing? And does he get asked these questions? And I'm not saying I'm not sacking the guy. But what I am doing is saying that where we are as a football club is unacceptable in the high standards that we have. Where's the accountability? Now, do you think Ed Woodward has got the footballing knowledge to pull Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a Manchester United legend, into his office and say, "What's your philosophy? Why do you keep changing your formation?" He won't have a bloody clue about that. That won't be anything. He don't know. He'll pull him into his office, give him a selection box, and say, "Look at the Premier League table. We're doing well, aren't we? See you later." And that's the sort of people we've got running our football club. There's no bloody accountability or knowledge, but they think we're hysterical. Oh, they're hysterical. Look at them being hysterical again. Just because you're going to get a big fat Christmas bonus because you've got a duvet deal coming in. Well, I hope you sleep comfortable under that because there may be trouble ahead because you're not running the club properly. I know we are not the United... Oh, God. Nearly got choked myself then. I know we're not the United of old, but I wish we would just make a decision on our identity and style of play. Bring in a director of footballer and manager to complement it, says Clarkey. Exactly. Well done. Ollie's a United legend, so they would rather have him leave than sack him. If it was anyone without history, they would be gone Wednesday, says Gentleman Lab. And Nagelsmann actually learned from the 5-0 defeat. Ollie doesn't learn from any mistakes he's made, says Joshua Davies. And the great point about what he said there is that, of course, we beat Leipzig 5-0. We played a diamond and we played really, really well. Nagelsmann responded to that, and Ollie responded to that by not playing the same way we did in the first game. It's crazy. Anyway, bit of transfer news because we could talk about that all night, and maybe we can talk about that at 8 o'clock tonight. Remember, we've got the press conference reaction at about 1:30 today. Ollie is going to be asked about Pogba, so it's going to be a very interesting show, that one at 1:30. But there is some transfer news. This is coming in from Manchester Evening News. Ben White at Brighton is now a centre-back option for Manchester United. I don't know what you think about that. I haven't seen enough of him. You know what? I really haven't taken notice of him enough, and that worries me in itself because I've seen Brighton play a few times this season. Admittedly, I've not because I'm interested in Brighton. I think Graham Potter's a good coach, but because they've been playing teams like Chelsea or United, etc. So, but he's not. It doesn't stand out to me. When I watch Brighton play, Lamptey, I've seen Lamptey play probably 7 times, and every time I watch him, I didn't even know who he was last year, and I'm like, who's the right back? He's really. I think you notice players that you don't know you're going to notice, and that's when they become good players. Like Ben White, to me, hasn't stood out in any game I've watched him. I've not gone. To me, like their centre backs are the same person. Is it Dunk and White? I don't notice anything about them. I don't go, wow, they're amazing. I don't think they're crap, but I don't think they're amazing. But Lamptey, really, I knew nothing about him last season, and I saw him and I was like, oh God, he's good. So I don't know that Ben White is what Manchester United need, to be honest. To me, it strikes as another Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Harry Maguire sort of signing that's going to cost us a lot of money and ultimately isn't that level that we want. But maybe I'm wrong on that one. They also cite Upamecano and Varane as other options. I mean, look, I think if you've got an option between Upamecano, Varane, and Ben White, again, it's a bit like a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, and a Mini Metro, isn't it? And so yeah, look, but can you get Rafael Varane? Can you get Upamecano? These are top echelon centre backs. And we're not a top echelon club. We're in the Europa League again. And the trouble with Man United now is that if United can sign any player. Like I must make this very clear. I know we're all pissed off and we're all negative, but United can sign any player. Look, we got Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes should have been on the list of many teams, whether it be Juventus, PSG, Real Madrid, and many of those clubs will be like, shit, we missed out on that. Because that's the sort of quality Bruno Fernandes is. And that's the sort of quality we were talking about a year before we bought him on this channel. You know, we were talking about Bruno Fernandes. The reason I was so confident Bruno Fernandes was going to be a revelation at United is because tracking his previous year, he was immense. Wherever he went, he was always going to make a massive difference. And that could have been Liverpool, Man City, whatever. So we can get hold of good players. The problem becomes when Manchester United want a player and another good club wants him. So if Bayern Munich wants Upamecano and Chelsea wants Upamecano, we ain't going to get him. And if, you know, PSG and Juventus want Varane as well as us, we're not going to get him. Because when you look at Manchester United, we're an attractive club to come to, but when you compare us to Liverpool or Chelsea or PSG or Juventus or Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, they're always in the Champions League and they're always near the top of their league. Over the last 7 years, our percentage of being in the Champions League must be below 50% now, over 7 years. And our percentage of being in a title race is 0. So we've become, I think for a few years after Sir Alex Ferguson, we hoped it was a blip. We've now become consistent. We've now become what Arsenal became, really. We're not title contenders, and really, we're not in the Champions League that often. So we're not going to be a strong proposition to an Upamecano when he can go and, you know, Leipzig will be in the Champions League next more than we are. So it makes us horrible. It makes us a horrible proposition compared to other clubs. So that's why we're probably looking at Ben White, not because we think he's as good as Upamecano, but because we know we're not going to get Upamecano. So when I see those stories that United have added Ben White to the list with Upamecano and Varane, I don't think that's because we think Ben White's anywhere near as good as those players. I think it's because we realise we ain't getting the good players, so we'll have to lower our expectations. And when you lower your expectations, you lower the quality of your club. And when you lower the quality of your club, you get further and further away from where you should be. Apparently rent-free Arsenal, addicted to Arsenal. So you must be Arsenal fans watching the United stand. I think you're answering your own. You're almost putting a statement out for yourself. Super chat, Mark. I think having better defensive coaching can make us better. We won't improve massively in defence with new signings. I heard Ollie's coaching staff has only passed midfielders and forwards, says Eritro. I disagree to a certain extent. I think that a good, we do need good defensive coaching, and it baffles me how our fullbacks aren't being told to mark the back post. That's pub football tactics, to be honest with you. But I also think the quick centre-back means we can play a higher line. We play very, very deep because of our slow centre-backs, and our CDMs play very deep as well because of our slow centre-backs. So we play very deep. We play too close to our goal and not close enough to the opposition goal. Do you think Poch will win the Europa League if he comes in? It gives us Champions League again and maybe better players, says Ekil. I said this yesterday, and I don't know whether I said it on the United stand. I'm worried about the Europa League because I think 7 or 8, because there's no real standout team in the Europa League, there's no Real Madrid or PSG dropping down. I think a lot of clubs will look at the Europa League and think they can win it. You know, Leverkusen, Ajax, Manchester United, Arsenal, Spurs, AC Milan. There's a few clubs. There's no standout club, but there's a lot of clubs who think they can win it. Well, when you've got 7 or 8 clubs who think they're going to win it and are going to try to win it, that's quarterfinal stage. You know, 7 or 8 means you're going to have 7 or 8 good clubs in the quarterfinals. That's 5 games from the quarterfinals, and I think there's 6 games before that. So Ollie's going to go for the Europa League, and what's going to happen is we'll go for the Europa League because we think we can win it. It will get hard around April time, which is also the ending of the Premier League season. It's also the end of a very hard season. We'll have burnout in April and we'll end up with nothing. I absolutely think that Manchester United should not go for the Europa League unless in February we're miles off top 4. If we're in a race for top 4 in February and the Europa League starts, you've got to prioritise one. You cannot be that manager who moans his arse off because he had to play Wednesday night and Saturday lunchtime in October, and then in February, March, April, May, the end of a ridiculously, stupidly, schedule, starts going, yeah, we're going to play Thursday, Sunday, and go for both. we can't do both. We literally cannot do both. What's he going to do? Play Maguire and Lindelof from non-stop Thursday to Sunday for another 3 months at the end of the season? We haven't got the squad to do it, so we've got to prioritise one. We've got a young Champions League experienced player in Donny, and Ollie still didn't start him. No point in being in the competition with Ollie, says Joshua Davies. Thank you for the super chat, Quinn. Would honestly rather see Rojo play over Maguire. At least he'd attack every ball. The head case would even head clear a concrete football, says Joshua Bowater. Hopefully POCH will finally get the best out of Lingy. Great young talent, says Ross. And Joshua Davies, we've done that. St Maximin would be an excellent signing. For some reason, no one's looked at him. He was a top 10 player in the league last year on a shit team, says Jonathan Kay. And if we can definitely identify Brighton's philosophy after seeing them for a couple of games, what's Ollie's excuse? I was adamantly Ollie in, but I can't excuse him for that, says Aditya. I think that, just going back to what Joshua Bowater said about Rojo, I never would have brought it into the show. But Quinn says that, Mark, should we put an eye on Wayne Rooney's performance at Derby? He's got 4 wins and 4 clean sheets. He hasn't got 4 wins, has he? Every game I see Derby, they draw. If Ollie leaves, I want a manager that's managed in the Prem. I'd rather a fresh set of eyes on the squad who's picked the best players, says Mark Dobble. You know what? I actually think at the moment that Marcus Rojo would probably do a better job than Harry Maguire. And I was thinking the very same thing last night, and I never would have remembered to bring it into the show. So big shout out to Joshua Bowater. But Marcus Rojo is left-footed and can play left centre-back. I think he would do a better job than Harry Maguire. I mean, Sheffield United want Marcus Rojo. And whatever you say about Sheffield United, and they are bad this season, defensively they're a good side. So if Chris Wilder thinks that Marcus Rojo can do a job for him, I'm sure he could do a better job than Harry Maguire. Van Persie left Arsenal because they didn't want to sign players to win the league. Not long before our players start to do the same, says Shaunak. Exactly, I agree. Just a quick about Edwin van der Sar, who's obviously sort of chief executive of Ajax. He's come out and said that, basically they're open to selling more players to teams like Manchester United and Real Madrid because that's just what they do at their club. They don't want to lose players, but they're actually quite proud when players go to big clubs like that. So, we've still got that connection with Ajax, and there's a couple of players I quite like there. Unfortunately, Gravenberch is actually a client of Mino Raiola, so I'd rather we stay clear of that one. Marcus Rashford has come out and said that, basically he'd like to stay and play with the club forever. But there's also talk that he's playing through an injury at the moment. He's playing through the pain, which again is, when is he going to get a rest? It's all right playing through the pain if you know you're going to get a rest. We're nowhere near the end of the season. When's Marcus Rashford going to get a rest? You can't play through the bloody pain forever. So that's a disappointment. I like what Bruno Fernandes has come out and said, that we've not been good enough recently, which was absolutely, we weren't good enough against Leipzig, and that's why we're out. And I think that feeds into a previous comment that, with Bruno Fernandes, I think we're fine with Bruno for a year, but in a year's time, if we're still doing what we're doing now, he'll be off. He will. In a year's time, he'll have been here 2 years, and clubs will be looking to bring him in, and he'll be going, I'm 26. Am I going to win the things I want to win? At Manchester United, probably not. I'm going to look to go. So United have got a very, very big year ahead. And as I said a couple of days ago, they should be putting a structure in place, because if they keep going down this road, we are never going to improve. We're going to continue to be inconsistent. And the next Pogba will probably be Bruno. I mean, I'm not saying Bruno's going to come out and do what Pogba did. We know where we are as a club, and tomorrow's a massive game, of course. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, by the way. We've got the press conference reaction coming up at 1:30. Unless Manchester United do something ridiculously cowardly, which I don't think they will, there will be questions about Paul Pogba at lunchtime. And I think what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says in relation to this could, in many people's eyes, dictate what they think about Solskjaer going forward. Now, our members, anyone who's a member will know that there's a community tab, and you get certain questions and polls put to you. And yesterday, obviously, we put it to our members, should Pogba even be on the bench tomorrow against Man City? And 67% said he shouldn't even be in the matchday squad. So, Manchester United need to engage and listen to what their fan base is thinking. And the majority at the moment, not saying there's some people who don't agree with this, but the majority at the moment do not want to see Paul Pogba in a Manchester United shirt. So if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer comes out at lunchtime and says Paul's a top lad, he's dedicated and focused on Manchester United, and Ole's got to be careful about how he deals with this. It's a very, very difficult situation. And I don't know whether there's a right or wrong answer, but to brush it under the carpet is probably the worst thing he could do, because after a week where he's done it to himself. He's exposed himself this week as a weak manager in the relation to, not in relation to how Pogba was dealt with. I'm talking about the Leipzig game. You need 1 point from 2 games and you end up with none. That exposes you as a tactically naive coach because you've got 90 minutes, 180 minutes against 2 separate teams who we've beaten in the last few weeks, and we can't find a way to get 1 point from 6. That's exposed him as a naive, inexperienced coach. That's the bottom line. Now, does he want to be exposed again by an external factor? And I heard somebody the other day say that, Paul Pogba's a coward. He doesn't even dare say these things, so he gets his agent to do it, which means exactly the same thing because his agent represents him. But it's cowardly. He runs around on the pitch smiling and doing fist pumps, but his agent has said those things and he acts on behalf of him. So Pogba's actually a coward, is what this person was saying. Is Ollie going to be a coward at lunchtime, or is he going to hit it face on and say what needs to be said? We'll see. I hope Maguire sits with Ollie in the presser, says Kanishka. He doesn't have anyone with him in the presser for a Premier League game. Mark, the theme with all 3 sackings was top 4 lost or almost out of reach, says Vignesh. Yes. Our centre-backs don't come to play, they come to ball watch, says Vigret. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm back live again in about 3 hours' time for Ollie's press conference reaction. Looking forward to what he's got to say. And of course, we've also got a massive game against Man City as well. But make sure you download the Flick app. The link's in the video description. You can continue the chat 24/7. It's free on Apple and Android. We're nearly at 8,000 on there, actually. The community's growing. And also, 8 o'clock tonight, Q&A show. And 1:30 press conference reaction. Lots to get our teeth into today. And I'm interested to see what is going to be said, because also we've got a massive game tomorrow, of course, as well, the Manchester derby. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for all the comments. Smash the like on the video, and I'll speak to you soon.